All right, let's pivot before we get out of here on to Ohio State, Tennessee. What's the football of it all say? Because, man, there's a lot of narrative. But what about the football?
No, go ahead, Tom.
No, go.
How is Ohio State going to play Tennessee? Ohio State's defense, I mean, because we have seen a couple teams play a fairly similar style this year and dare Tennessee to kind of like keep it underneath, run them out of it. Arkansas did so successfully. Other times, though, Tennessee was able to run at it. Tennessee's a pretty damn physical offense. Like their tight ends, they hit you. So if I'm Ohio State, I'm probably opening up like that, just with the memories of what Oregon did to my DBs in single coverage. Can Tennessee successfully run Ohio State out of those looks if those are indeed the looks they get to open from Jim Knowles? I don't know. Or is Jim Knowles going to go back to his roots and say, we're going to play aggressively here, and we're going to blitz you, and we're going to see if you can actually complete those balls one-on-one on the outside. The reason I think they won't is that Ohio State is not an up-tempo team this year, and I think the style I mentioned as far as blitzing a bunch probably lends itself to a lot of possessions, and I don't think Ohio State wants to get to the shootout with Tennessee. So in that regard, I think they will probably play more, downs in those guys back, keep the ball underneath, see if Tennessee can be consistent.
Danny.
I am doing everything I can to stop Dylan Sampson, and I am saying, Nico, go ahead. In the cold, good luck. You've been up and down all year. You're still young. We've got home field. Do it on the road. Beat us. Like, and whether that's run blitz too, like, hey, you can still throw the kitchen sink at them to stop the run, but try to do everything you can. And your corners have been vulnerable. You've given up some big plays. But again, I challenge a young player to try to do it. That's what I would try to do, is dictate the game that way, because clearly Tennessee wants to run the football.
Yeah, I do think this will be kind of rock fighty, like just because I think that both of these defenses are excellent. I think that Ohio State's is better on all three levels compared to Tennessee, though. So I think they have the edge there. It's just like, did Ohio State learn anything from the Michigan game? Like, will we go back to being Ohio State and being like, oh, that's right, we've got 2 NFL wide receivers. We should get the ball in their hands as much as we possibly can, try to take that advantage of that, or are we going to just try to run the ball at this team over and over again and prove how tough and manly we are? So I would hope that they learned, and I would hope that they change their approach, because I think they're better when they do it. But also at the same time, like, how much has that offensive line improved with the time between games, getting that week, like losing to Michigan, not having to play in Indianapolis? You lose snaps and experience from that, but you also get time for your offensive line to continue working together, to figure each other out and just gel a little bit. How much of an improvement do we see? Because they're going up against a very good Tennessee defensive line. And if they're not at their best, they're going to get overrun, much like we saw them do against Michigan a lot. So that's huge. On the other side, I think you're right, bud. I think that this is going to be a make Nico beat us. And if he can, Tennessee could win this game, then pull off the upset. But I do think, as reductive as it sounds, I do feel like this comes down to Nico versus Will Howard. Which one makes plays? Which one doesn't? Because I think that's what both defenses are going to try to force the other one to do.
Mm-hmm. Combined quarterback carries in this game, including sacks, over under 15.
Over.
I'm going to lean under, just because they don't run Nico a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like they should. So maybe they've been saving it and we start seeing more of it now.
Combined QBs, right?
Yeah.
Combined.
I think it's still over.
We'll see.
A couple sacks each. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Howard's going to get 10 or 11 on his own carries.
For sure. I see, like, it's Tennessee does not really use Nico a whole lot, especially in the red zone. Like, I can't remember the number, but when I was writing about Quinn this week, like, he's the only quarterback in the playoff who doesn't have a rushing touchdown this year.
Is this the game that Tennessee misses Keenan Peely at linebacker?
I think so. I mean, again, if Ohio State's game plan is just run the ball 80 times, they might miss them a lot more, but we'll see. I don't know. I do think that, yes, this is like, I mean, when you're facing Ohio State, if you're not at 100%, you're going to feel it. Because, like, they are very good. Like, we get so lost in the Michigan loss and the stupidity behind it. It's like, well, let's not forget this is a really good football team who's got NFL players all across the board. So, yeah, I think that'll hurt them a little bit. You guys got any other thoughts on this one?
Just how tight is it? Can you sense the stress? Can they get out? I think that's imperative. They get off to a strong start.
What do we?
The stress thing's interesting there. I am really curious to see what Ohio State thinks about these Tennessee receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll know by how they're deciding to play things.
Yeah, because I do think talent-wise, like they've got guys who could lock these dudes down. I just like we could look back at that Oregon game. I think Oregon's just got better receivers than Tennessee does. They don't scare me the same way that Tennessee's do, because even when Nico does manage to hit him in the hands, they drop it a lot. So I don't know. How does Chip usually end the show?
By reminding people about the live show.
That's right. You should come to Fort Worth. Remember RSVP. It's free. Not going to charge anything. Danny will buy all your drinks. He's already sworn to do that. So show up. See you there. It'll be great.
All the espresso martinis you want.
All the espresso martinis you could hope for. You could follow him at Bud Elliott 3. You could follow him at Danny Kanell. You could follow me at aguyinarobe.com. We will see you tomorrow for locks. College football playoff locks. We broke the games down, but we have not shared our picks. Tomorrow we will.